Hello everyone, welcome to Techis. In this video, I am going to explain directives in Angular. Basically, the directives are classes that can change the behavior and appearance of the Angular application. Directives have two types. One is default directives and another one is custom directives. In the default directives, basically we can call it is built-in directives. It has three types. One is component and the next one is attribute directives and the final one is structural directives. So the first one is components. We all know the component is the primary building block of our Angular application. So we can create the component and we can customize based on the requirement. And the next one is attribute directives. The attribute directives basically change the appearance of the application in order to changing the element and property and attribute and some other directives also. We have the inbuilt directives NgClass, NgStyle and NgModel. So the NgClass basically used for changing the CSS classes and NgStyle for updating the any styles. And final one is NgModel. It will be used in the forms. Basically it's supporting for the two-way binding. So we can see everything in the detail with the examples. Let me open my application. Here I am going to add one new element. So testing with NgClass. Now see, there is no styles are included. Then I am going to add one class here. Okay, the class is added in our CSS side. Let me come to the our TS file side. Here I am going to add one property. Class name is special. Okay, this is done. Now I am trying to bind this class in the particular HTML element. Here I am going to use this property binding concept. So the syntax is rectangle curly braces and then NgClass. Here the C only is caps, all other letters are small one. Okay, it's added. We can see the output now. Okay, the color is changed in the orange because it's coming from the class. And we can add some conditions. So again I declared one more variable called special. Now I'm coming to the HTML side. Here I'm checking. If it's true, I can have this one, or else my class is empty. Okay, see now the class is not added, or else the class is empty. Now I am trying to change the value of special. So now see the class is included. NgClass is mainly supporting for the dynamic binding. The same thing we can achieve from the interpolation also. Let me explain. Okay, instead of NgClass, I am going to use normal class only. And we all know the interpolation syntax is double curly braces. Okay, it's added. Let me remove all other things. Okay, it's showing some error. Yes, this question mark is not required. See now. So here also the class is applied. So there are two ways binding the class in dynamic manner. One is using the NgClass with the property binding and another one is using the interpolation also we can do. So next let me move on this NgStyle. I am going to add one more h2 tag. So here testing with NgStyle. Okay, and I am going to add one style here. So we all know basically the styles in array format. I am going to add the first one is font style. So the font style value is italic. Now I am trying to bind this style. In the HTML side, here also I am going to use same the property binding, NgStyle. So now I am added this style. Let me see the output now. So the font style is changed into italic format. Let me include one more style also. If required, we can include another property. So color, I am going to give blue. So we can see our output. Okay, the color also included. Now we have binded our style in the dynamic way using this NgStyle. If you think, is there any other possibility? There is no possibility. Even we cannot use the interpolation also. As I mentioned, the interpolation basically bind in the string format, so it won't take. We can check that also. If you see here, I'm trying to add the style. Okay. If I am adding also, it will show the error. Even I'm adding the syntax itself, it's showing the error. So it's not possible. So if you want to bind any style in the dynamic way, you have to use the NgStyle. So let me remove these things. Now we have completed NgClass and NgStyle. Let me move on to the NgModel. So NgModel is basically used for the two-way binding. If you are using this NgModel, you have to import the what is called the form model in our app model. So let me do this. So this is our app model. Here I am going to add this form model, import from Angular / forms form model. Okay. So once it's added, we have to include this import side. So now the app model side changes are completed. Now I am going to declare one value here, input value equal to test. And also I am going to create one constructor. Okay, fine. Now I am trying to bind this value using this NgModel. In the HTML side, I am going to create one input control. The input control, I am going to use the NgModel. So as I mentioned, it's a two-way binding. So we have to use the syntax is like this. NgModel equal to, so our declared value is input value. Okay, this is done. Let me see the output now. Okay, the text value is added here. And as I mentioned, two-way binding, so we can verify how it's working. So when I'm added the values in our component, I mean the TS side, its value automatically updated in the HTML element. At the same time, if I'm changing the values in the HTML, it's automatically reflected in our component side. So for testing this one, I am going to create one function, change. Our function name is data change. Here I am not going to pass any data. So because we have already the NgModel, so whenever the values get changed, we can get in the component side. So let me declare the function here and console.log. The log we can use this dot input because this input value only we added in the NgModel. Okay, fine. Now we can verify. Let me go to the console. As of now, there is no data. Test with Okay, see now the values is changed. That's what it's updated in the test with NgModel. So whenever I'm changing the data, it's automatically gets updated. So that's what it's a two-way binding. Now we have completed our attribute directives, the NgClass and NgStyle and NgModel. Let me move on the structural directives. Okay. So the structural directives basically are responsible for the HTML layout. They change the DOM structure, typically adding and removing any element. So in the default, we have the NgIf, NgFor, NgSwitch. Let me create some examples. Based on that, I will explain deeply. So let me start with NgIf. So just consider this title. Okay, as of now, there is no condition. We already declared one variable is special. If special is true means I need to have this title or else the title is not required. So I'm going to add this ngif here. So the syntax is we need to use the star then ng. So ng is always small. Then I is the caps. Now I'm going to add a special. Now it's showing the title because our default value is true. Now I'm trying to change into false. So okay, now we can see. So the title is removed. So in this way we have to use this NgIf for any scenario, and let me move on this NgFor. So if you have the collection of data, you have to bind in any HTML element. In real-time scenarios, you have the list of data, you have to bind in the table or else any list. And in some scenarios, we have the component, we have to load n number of time. In these scenarios, basically we can use this NgFor. I am going to have one array country. So in the country, I am having India and England. I am going to add one more country, Australia. So now I am trying to bind one of the list. Here I am going to add this list UL and inside that LI. So in the LI I am going to generate dynamically based on the array. So let me copy the array values country. So the for syntax is the same. First we have to use the star and ng as of now common. I am going to use the for let item. Here I am creating the object of then our array name. This item also I mentioned item. If required, you can give your own name suggestions. Now I am going to use the interpolation concept. Let me bind the data. So now see in the list there are 3 records, all are loaded dynamically. So now let me move on the NgSwitch. For that I am going to add one array first. If you see in the array, I am added some hard-coded data. It has 3 properties. One is name, age, and country. Now let me bind this one in our HTML. So I am going to add one more list. So now in the list, I am going to add this NgFor first. After that, we can apply the condition based on the switch. So let item of and our array name is people. And here I am going to add the NgSwitch, SWITCH. For our switch condition is country. Based on the country values only, we are going to have some conditions. Now let me add the list first. So in the list, I'm going to bind this name, and also I want bind the country name. So in the NgSwitch, basically we have the NgSwitch case and NgSwitch default. First, let me add the NgSwitch case. So USA, and if it is a USA, I need to add one class also. Text success. Let me check in the style side. I'm having the class. If it is not matched the case, we can use this default option. So in the default, I'm going to use the class is primary. And instead of case, we can use default. Okay, still it's showing some error. Okay, here I'm added one more data additionally. That's what showing the error. And the second line also. Okay, fine. We can see the output now. So now if you see, these two are from country USA. So it's coming in the green color, but all others are coming in the blue color. So let me try to add one more condition also. For that, I am going to add bounding. Here I am going to add the country is HK. Okay, if you see, this that data is coming in the yellow color because I'm added the class is warning. So in this way, we have to use this NgSwitch in our Angular application. Now we have completed our structural directives. Now let me move on the custom directives. So as of now, the inbuilt directives only we used. In some cases, we may require to create some custom directives. So for creating the custom directives, we have the Angular CLI command ngGenerate, and D is the short form of directive and the directive name. Let me create one new directive. You open one new terminal. Here I am going to ngGenerate directives, and I should have one folder direct, or else it will create in the outside. And font change. This is my directive name. Now look like our directive is created. So this is the folder. The spec file is not required. Let me remove this one. And this is our directive. This is our selector name. Let me add this selector in any of the control. So let me add in the title itself. So in the title I am added. Now I am going to implement the changes in our directive side. So in the directive side, I am going to import the element ref. Okay, it's added. Let me inject here if and element ref. Now I can able to access this element ref if dot native element. Here I am going to add one style. So color is red. Now we can see the output. Okay, see the color is changed. The initially we have see the green color. Actually, it's coming from the CSS file. Now it's changed into a red color. The value actually coming from our directives. So the same way we can include some other properties also. So let me change the font also, font size. This is caps, and font I'm going to give just 10 pixel. It's very small one. See, the font also look like it gets updated. Now you may have some questions. The same thing we can achieve using some CSS class also. Yes, it's fine, but at the same time, if required, we can include some functionalities also if you are using the directives. So this is all about the directives, and also I'm going to place this URL in the description. You can go through the link. This is the official URL of Angular directives. Still, if you have any doubts or clarifications, please post in the comment box, and also please don't forget to subscribe my channel. And if you like this video, like and share to your friends. Thank you. Thanks for watching.